Hello and welcome back, dear students, once again to your channel. In today's video, we shall be discussing a poem from your ISC syllabus, class 11 syllabus. And the poem is Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare, and it is from your Rhapsody. Rhapsody, a collection of ISC poems. All right. Uh, I'm looking at page number 13 of Rhapsody, a collection of ISC poem, Sonnet 116. But before I begin, you know what's coming up next? Yes. If you find these videos interesting and helpful for you to score your marks in your exams, do not forget to give me a like and also to subscribe to my channel. It shall keep me motivated. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, William Shakespeare, and this man needs no introduction. He's a great playwright. We all know about that. But what we will get to know today is William Shakespeare as the poet. It it is very surprising why we do not talk much about Shakespeare the poet, especially the person who's written 154 sonnets. Now, what are sonnets? Sonnets are poems of 14 lines, okay? And this person, William Shakespeare, had written 154 sonnets. What is interesting is out of these 154 sonnets, the first 126 sonnets are addressed to an unnamed youth. Um, he's by if we have to go by the color of the skin, he is the fair youth, but he's unnamed. And the remaining 28 the sonnets are addressed to a dark lady, again unnamed. So, who the subjects were of Shakespeare's sonnets are really not known, and that is what makes them very, very interesting. All right, let's come down to page 13, last paragraph about the poet. Altogether, Shakespeare's works include 38 plays, two narrative poems, and they are pretty long. Okay, 154 sonnets. Now, what are these sonnets? Sonnets are poems of 14 lines. Okay, there are two types of sonnet. One is the English sonnet, which is also known as the Elizabethan sonnet or the Shakespearean sonnet, the kind we are going to read now. And we also have Petrarchan sonnet also, and a variety of other poets. No original manuscripts of Shakespeare's plays are known to exist today. It is actually thanks to a group of actors from Shakespeare's company that we have about half of the plays at all. Skipping the next paragraph, that is not so important. Coming to the last one. Sonnet 116 was first published in 1609. Its structure and form are typical example of the Shakespearean sonnet. So sonnets have a typical structure. The English sonnet has a specific structure. As against that, a Petrarchan sonnet will also have a different form and structure. Now, what is the structure of the English sonnet? The English sonnet or the Shakespearean sonnet is supposed to have, you know, four quatrains and one rhyming couplet. What are these? We will understand this when we read the poem. But for now, please understand that a typical Shakespearean sonnet will have four quatrains and one rhyming couplet. And it is written in iambic pentameter, and the rhyme scheme of a Shakespearean sonnet is A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G. So this is something which you have to remember, that a typical Shakespearean sonnet has a typical structure that is of four quatrains and one rhyming couplet. Number one. Number two, these sonnets are written in iambic pentameter. And number three, the rhyming scheme of these sonnets are, at least for this sonnet, is AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, and GG. And if you remember, I had told you Shakespeare's sonnets can be divided into two categories. The first 126 sonnets are addressed to an unnamed fair youth, and the remaining of the sonnets are addressed to a dark lady who's again unnamed. So, sonnet 116 is one such sonnet which is addressed to the fair youth, unnamed fair youth. Okay, now let's come back and see what the poem is about. The poet begins by stating that he does not object to the marriage of true minds, but maintains that love is not true if it changes with time. True love is constant regardless of difficulties. Ideal love is maintained as unchanging throughout the sonnet, and Shakespeare concludes in the final couplet that he is either correct in his estimation of love or else that no man has ever truly loved. Alright, now let's read the poem Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. Let me not to the marriage of true minds amid impediments. Love is not love which alters when its alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. He says here, right at the opening, Shakespeare makes marriage a metaphor. Marriage here is a metaphor for perfect loyalty of devotion to friendship, as well as it is a metaphor for the union of man and wife. Alright. So he says, let me not to the marriage of true minds. When does a marriage of true minds occur? When there is a complete devotion to the other individual, when you completely trust the other individual. Okay. So it stands, marriage here stands for a metaphor for the perfect loyalty of devotion. Okay, so let me not to the marriage of true minds amid impediments. Why? Because love is not love which alters when its alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove. So true love, he says, is constant. True love will never alter when any changes occur, or it will never bend when some third person is trying to intervene in your relationship and trying to, break you apart. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to the wandering bark, whose worths were unknown, although his height be taken. It is an ever fixed mark, it is constant, it cannot be moved, that looks on tempests and it's never shaken. No matter how many storms come, no matter how many difficulties you face, if you trust your partner, if you love your partner, no storm can break you apart. It is the star to every wandering bark. Here, bark here is a vessel, and wandering bark is a vessel which is lost in the sea during the tempest. Okay, what Shakespeare is trying to say is it is the star. Star, the reference is to the pole star whose direction is fixed in the sky, the North Star, the pole star. What Shakespeare is trying to say here is true love is like the guiding spirit which guides the lovers, and do not let them go astray. Do not let misunderstandings creep between them. Like a pole star helps the vessel to find its way by showing direction, true love also does not let lovers to grow apart. It keeps them together. Love's not time's fool. Love is here personified. Time is here again personified. Love is not time's fool. So time and tide, we know, waits for none. So love is something, which cannot be fooled by time. Here the references of permanence of true love versus impermanence of physical charm. In other words, if you love a person, you love that individual's soul. You do not love that person for his or her physical beauties. If you're going to the gym to get your six packs every day, and in the hope that my girlfriend is going to go gaga over it, then I'm sorry to say, my dear, it's not love, it's your lust. If you're going to the beauty parlor every day to make your skin flawless so that your partner never turns his face away from you, then it is not love again. It is again lust. Because love is beyond time's control. Because time will wear out the physical beauties. As we've seen in the case of Vasavadatta in Abhisara the Tryst. She was very beautiful in the initial phase. But what happened with time? Her beauty waned. So, we have to realize that if we have to love our partners, we have to love beyond the physical attributes so that time cannot touch the lovers. Okay? Love time's not full, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. So, love here is personified as a woman carrying a sickle in her hand. And with the sickle, what does love do? Tries to, cut out or cut down on the affinity, on the closeness, and so on and so forth. However, true love is beyond time's scale. Even when physical beauties dwindle with the passage of time, true love remains firm. In other words, if you love your partner truly and dearly, time will not be able to separate you out. Because with time, physical beauty is going to dwindle, but the beauty of the heart is going to remain. So, if you have fallen for your partner for the beauty of the heart, it will not grow apart. Alright? If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. So, if I am proved wrong, Shakespeare says, that true love will not alter no matter what happens, then let me tell you that no man has ever loved. That is, what Shakespeare is trying to point out is he is of the opinion that either he is correct in his estimation of love, that true love will never change no matter what, or no man has ever loved. This is, of course, an exaggeration or an hyperbole. So let me not to the marriage of true minds. I told you marriage here is a metaphor. Amid impediments, love is not love. Love is not love is an alliteration, which alters when its alteration finds, again an alliteration, or bends with the remover to remove, again an alliteration. So you see, the first four lines are giving us one idea that love will not change under these circumstances. True love will never change under these circumstances. So, four lines giving up one idea. It's the first quatrain. Remember, I told you Shakespearean sonnet will have the quatrains and rhyming couplets. So, this is your first quatrain. Second quatrain. Oh, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark whose worth unknown, although his height be taken. This is the second quatrain, giving out the idea that true love is firm and constant. Third quatrain now. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. Doom is actually the reference to the Christian reference of the doomsday, the final day of judgment when souls unite. So, this is your third quatrain, giving out this idea that if you are in love with your partner truly, love's sickle or love's scythe will never be able to harm you. So, love is not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks, within his bending sickle compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. So, disregarding the fact of waning physical beauties, true love will remain constant. Time will not have any control over true love and true lovers. That's the third quatrain. Now comes the rhyming couplet. If this be error and upon me proved, I never rate nor no man ever loved. See, the last two lines are rhyming. So this is the rhyming couplet. So three quatrains and one rhyming couplet. And of course, the figure of speech in the rhyming couplet is an exaggeration or an hyperbole. Because if Shakespeare believes that if he is proved wrong in his ideas of love, no man has ever truly loved. Of course, that is an exaggeration and a hyperbole, or an hyperbole rather. So, the fourth quatrains and one rhyming couplet. All right. So, this is the poem. Now, what is the theme of the poem? Of course, the poem talks about indestructibility and timelessness of true love, which is constant, eternal, and everlasting. True love is beyond the control of time. True love remains firm, and true love never questions the partner because it is based on trust and belief. Okay, the course of true love never runs smooth. It is filled with, numerous pitholes, numerous potholes it is filled with. But if you love your partner truly and honorably, then no matter how many tempests come, you stand firm like the polestar. All right. So this is the poem, children. I hope you'll be able to, score maximum by following this video in your exams. So if you find this video helpful, do not forget to give me a like and also to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Until then, take very good care of your health and goodbye.